Hey fight fans, in this video, the newly crowned champion Islam Makhachev is looking for new challenges. But what is next for him? Well, according to the UFC, he already has an opponent, an Australian UFC featherweight champ, Alex Volkanovski. The Super Fight of Champions will headline UFC 284 on February 11th in Perth. But Charles Oliveira wants to organize a rematch with Makhachev, and he wants to fight in Brazil. Okay, it would be more correct to say that he demands a revenge fight with Islam, but many fans believe that the most likely opponent for the champ is actually going to be Beneil Dariush, because that fight has already been cancelled several times and Dariush deserves a title shot. Also, in this video, Islam Makhachev is not averse to moving up to welterweight, which proves interesting because that could mean a fight with Khamzat Chimaev. So let's see what the odds are for that fight. And at the end of the video, Conor McGregor unexpectedly revealed his new combat system, telling all of his secrets on how he could defeat Islam Makhachev. So let's go. But before we go, I want to ask you guys for your support by liking and subscribing to the channel, because this motivates us to make new and interesting videos for you all, so thank you in advance. Islam Makhachev returned home to Dagestan, where he was not only met by relatives and friends, but by the whole of Dagestan. He became a national hero. Makhachev remembered his coach, Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov, who predicted the triumph of his student but did not live to see it. "I think he would be pleased," said Islam. After the confident victory that Makhachev had over Oliveira, new opportunities are now opening up for the fighter. Many people think that Islam lacks charisma, but I personally don't think that's a problem. His champion status will definitely add to his charisma and more media exposure. There is confidence that is had by winning the championship belt, and Islam was able to significantly increase his value in the eyes of the UFC. The organization is already hard at work on hosting a possible fight with Alexander Volkanovski in Australia. But at the same time, Makhachev has even bigger challenges ahead that could bring him closer to the status of Khabib. But what will actually happen next? Well, it's understandable that the next contender for the lightweight title will be Alex Volkanovski. But Charles Oliveira, he wants to organize a revenge fight with Islam, but this time he wants to do it in Brazil. "I deserve revenge. I even demand it. I think that in general my winning streak suggests that I can get a second chance, and let it be in Brazil," Oliveira said. But that's probably not the most likely option. With all due respect to Charles Oliveira, he was not a champion before the fight, so therefore he cannot count on an immediate rematch. Dana White's not going to go for it, plus there's really no point in the fight. Look, I love Oliveira, but I have to admit, Islam taking out Oliveira the way that he did? Man, that makes a statement. Oliveira is a great fighter, but Makhachev, they're just at completely different levels. It's a fact.
Islam Makhachev must have the most incredible squeeze. His squeeze must be out of this world, because you see how quick Charles tapped once he clamped that on him. I mean, whew, that dude is on another level. I mean, he is the truth. I was always impressed with him, but I mean, I was saying leading up to him getting a shot at the world title, he's the boogeyman of that division. He was the guy that everybody was saying like is the most dominant of all the contenders. And then when he tapped over, that was a big one. When he tapped Dan Hooker, that was a big one too. It's like the way he's tapping these guys, who are these world-class fighters, he's just fucking running through them. But the fact that he got on Oliveira and mounted him and then submitted him with an arm triangle, head and arm choke, like, phew, he submitted the guy with the most submissions in the history of the sport. And the way he did it was just, he was so fucking methodical and dominant, and Oliveira tested him. I mean, he got out of bad positions in the first round, he got back up to his feet, hit him with some good shots, but Makhachev, he's the fucking truth.
And many fans think the most likely opponent for the champ is actually going to be Beneil Dariush, because this fight has already been canceled several different times, and Dariush, well, he deserves a title shot. The American has won 8 fights in a row, and he's a great wrestler, which just fuels interest in the fight with Islam. Now, yes, a fight with Volkanovski would be very exciting, but first, Islam should have to defend his title by defeating Beneil Dariush, just to avoid any unnecessary talk. Dariush himself also believes that he should become the next contender for the title. Of course, in the next fight, I want to fight Makhachev. I want to fight the best fighters in the world, and right now, he is the best. I need this fight. Is Islam's grappling the best in the UFC? No, I have the best grappling. Dariush told Sport Express. And the new champion himself says that now we need to think about what to do next. Now I am a champion, and I have to defend my title. But in order to create a legacy, I need to become a champion in a different weight category, Makhachev told MMA Fighting. The fight with Volkanovski is the most likely for Makhachev. However, there are other prospects that Islam does not mind moving up to welterweight for. Of course, now this is not very relevant because Islam just won the belt and everything is scheduled in the welterweight division. Usman is going to be having a rematch with Leon Edwards, while Chimaev is going to face off against Covington. So in the near future, the queue for the title, well, that one's going to be a little busy. And Makhachev should hold a couple of defenses, after which he can then change weight. However, there's a more interesting plot there, a fight with Khamzat Chimaev, who had some beef with Khabib's brother after UFC 280. But even in the lightweight division, there are still options. Everyone knows how much Dana White loves Conor McGregor. There were rumors that McGregor would fight Justin Gaethje. If Volkanovski gives up on the idea of fighting at lightweight and Conor suddenly beats Gaethje, well, anything can happen. After all, the fight with Makhachev is the only chance for White to bring Conor and Khabib together again in the same octagon. But I know these are just fantasies because the current McGregor may not return to MMA at all. And someone can even ask a question, what about Conor's new system with which he gathered to kill everyone? Well, popular blogger Jake Paul answered this question, saying the only tool he has developed is his fingers to write messages. Islam will kill Conor in the first round. That's why he deleted his tweet, said Jake Paul. Now, of course, the UFC has plans for Conor, but Dana White may have a plan in mind as he wants to match him with the new lightweight champ. However, in this case, Khabib will certainly be in the corner of Islam Makhachev, and there's going to be more beef and hype. As for Conor's new system, the question was answered by Conor himself. The Irishman wrote on social media to Alexander Volkanovski saying, "I was in your place once. Don't forget it. Good luck. I'd say go tough like you did in the rugby days. Be a bowling ball. If I were you, I would do so. I don't know what your physical condition is at the moment, but the bowling ball style is your best chance." So I want to ask you guys, what do you guys think about it? Could you imagine it? And what does he mean? Like rugby, be a bowling ball. Is that the newest developed combat system of Conor? Be a bowling ball? Okay, Conor, what bowling alley? Just kidding. As for Makhachev versus Volkanovski, Michael Bisping thinks that Makhachev will not be able to win the belt in another division. It seems to me that Islam will not become a champion in two weight categories. The fact is that Volkanovski will rise to lightweight and challenge Islam. If Islam beats him, they won't have an immediate rematch in a different weight class. And Islam will not go down to featherweight division, so it's hard for me to imagine how he will make 145 pounds, Bisping stated in a video posted to his YouTube channel. And really, how does Makhachev plan to make the weight? Well, that is the most important question, as he will have to move down one weight class. Islam is a rather big lightweight, so that could be difficult to make featherweight. It just seems to me like he's going to have some difficulty doing it. And it's likely that he simply will not make the necessary weight or will be in such an exhausted state, which that's even worse. But let's just hope that everything works out as we the fans are waiting for one of the most intriguing confrontations in the history of the UFC. According to them, that super fighted champion should be happening in UFC 284 on February 11th in Perth, Australia. So that's all for today. What do you guys think about all of it? Again, write your comments down below, like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you in advance.